here we are. I think the starting point for it is to ask you, firstly, to walk me through the day when you realized that your funds on FTX were gone. Talk me through that day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not that I would have put the counterparty risk of FTX at zero. I never would have done that. But the speed at which the collapse occurred, that I think I never could have imagined. Because the Coinbase article with the Alameda balance sheet came out Wednesday afternoon. And I woke up Monday morning and saw some of the news flow and was like, oh, we need to move assets off there, and you couldn't get them off Monday morning. So that was the speed at which, richest guy in the world under the age of 30. They'd raised it a $32 billion valuation from BlackRock, a bunch of marquee names. That was how quickly all that came down. And I saw the news flow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, saw it. And didn't dismiss it, and was in Telegram chats with guys that were much closer to Alameda and FTX than I was. And it is worth mentioning that I've never talked to Sam one-on-one. Don't have a relationship with him. I've never met him. Knew some other folks that had worked at FTX in the past, but didn't have a relationship with Sam, and didn't know anything about, Gary or Caroline or Trabuco, or, didn't know anything about these guys. But I had close personal relationships with guys that did have close relationships with them and with those organizations, and had done a lot of business with them. And these guys, were sort of saying that there wasn't anything to worry about, that the Alameda balance sheet snapshot was an inaccurate representation of that organization's financial position. And then when the CZ stuff started popping off, they had been in a pissing match for, I don't know, like 18 months before that, on and off. So I just kind of dismissed that as like this, crypto Twitter pissing match kind of thing. And, and then it all just came, really quickly. And so, Monday morning, went to withdraw a lot of assets and got, almost nothing off before they gated withdrawals. And then by Monday night, they had gated withdrawals entirely, and by then, it was looking like there was a pretty big problem. And that obviously developed over, kind of Tuesday. And then there was the CZ's going to bail out FTX thing that lasted for 36 hours or something like that. And, I think they filed for bankruptcy that Friday. So
the Friday was, I guess you went through the week with a little bit of hope. Something will come out of this. And then Friday's like, fuck, this is gone.
Yeah. Not a lot of hope, a lot of dread.
Okay.
Yeah. Just a lot of, when all that was happening, we use Slack for our internal messaging, and there's like there's a message from me, like, Monday at noon, where I'm like, yeah, worst case scenario here, this is ball game for us.
Okay. And if you'd have, you read the article on the Wednesday, do you know if you'd have attempted to make withdrawals then, you would have had any chance?
Yeah.
You would have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to remain to be seen in the bankruptcy process what's going to happen potentially with some of those withdrawals getting clawed back. There's a lot of uncertainty there, but yeah, withdrawals were open. I think the quote, at least from Sam, and I don't know how much to trust him, but I think he said they processed $6 billion of withdrawals in the 72 hours prior to them closing withdrawals. So a lot of money came off the exchange.
And so that Friday hits. What is the reality of what that means for you and Ikigai at that moment? Have you shared what you lost in it, and can you share what you lost?
It was the large majority of the fund's assets.
Okay.
Yeah. Of the hedge fund's assets. And I had, a very big chunk of my liquid net worth invested in the fund.
Okay.
Alongside all of our other investors. So we've got just a very small amount of assets, left over that aren't stuck in FTX that we still have available. Was in constant communication with all of our investors. I think we sent out an email like Tuesday night, Wednesday night, did a 2.5 hour Zoom, Thursday morning, sent out another email Friday afternoon of that first week. The cadence slowed down, a little bit over the following few weeks, but still in, very consistent communication as, more stuff became available. I think maybe a week or 10 days after the bankruptcy was filed, we hired bankruptcy counsel because I've never dealt with a bankruptcy before to try and just help us, make the best decisions possible through that process. We were the 18th largest creditor. And so they sent out, there's a creditors committee that gets formed in the bankruptcy process. They send out an application to the top 50 creditors that if you want to be on this creditors committee, you fill out this application. They do an interview with you. They did an interview. We ended up not getting selected. But there was a potential in there for a couple weeks where it was like, we could be on this creditors committee and be, very much involved in this bankruptcy process. And then I think it was the second week of December where they picked that creditors committee. We weren't on it. And then it was like, okay, now there's basically nothing you can do in terms of like affecting the outcome. You're just in wait and see mode. You can sell your claim. There's a claims market for FTX accounts.
What are they paying on the dollar?
Before 2 days ago, it was about 13 cents.
Okay.
There was that headline that came out yesterday or two days ago.
The 5 billion funds.
Yeah, that 5 billion number. And that 5 billion number was, I would say billions of dollars higher than what people were thinking for that number. So I think that claims market, it's probably gone just completely, it's probably entirely on pause right now. While people sort out like, where did this $5 billion number come from that everybody's so surprised at? But I think that 13 cents number and I've talked to a lot of claims buyers. I think that translates to an expected recovery value, base case, safe recovery value of 25 to 30 cents with upside, beyond that, multiple sort of avenues of upside to that. And with this new information, I think that would probably double that number, I would guess. And, it's been weird. Like, it's a weird feeling as some of this, you're parsing through trying to figure out the different paths to, what the recoveries might be. It's very opaque. It's tons of conjecture. It's like there was balance sheets that were sent around of the venture capital portfolio. You're sitting there looking at the venture capital portfolio going, okay, if you liquidated this thing, a year from now, like, what do you think, what kind of value could you get out of this? It's a lot of conjecture, but, especially with this news that came out a couple days ago, there are paths to like 75, 85 cents on the dollar recovery. And then it could drag out, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And it's like this weird feeling to think that like 5 years from now, I get like 85 cents on the dollar back. Like, that's just like a weird, I don't know, it just feels weird. Yeah.
And I guess also, therefore, there's a trade-off between, Ikigais are still a going concern, right?
For now. Yeah, it's up in the air, but yeah.
Like, if there was a chance, say the claims market was offering 50 cents on the dollar, you would have a scenario like, do we wait or do we recover that? That would keep, I guess, some of your investors might withdraw, but that would give you something to trade through what may be a potential rise in the market price over the years.
Right.
I guess these are things you're kind of weighing up.
That's definitely one factor. The investor base has been, I would say meaningfully more supportive than expected given the circumstances.
Okay.
Very little anger and zero vitriol. Like, we got 300 LPs and not a single one has like been ugly. People aren't happy. Obviously, people are disappointed. People are asking questions about why would you keep so many assets on an exchange like that? But the large majority have been very supportive, want us to keep going. We're not accepting new subscriptions into the fund right now. If we were, we could raise, some meaningful amount of money in fresh capital if we wanted to do that.
Why aren't you? Is it the wrong time?
when something this big happens in life, you just want to pause and get a sense of your bearings and reevaluate. You know, it is a season of reevaluating things that are foundational in your life. And I've been doing that for sure. And I don't know what the exact outcomes of that are going to be. And it essentially, for me, looks like a series of decision trees. And the top of the decision tree is, do I want to stay in crypto? Yes or no? If yes, do I want to keep managing other people's money? Yes or no? If yes, do I want to do that standalone like at Ikigai, or do I want to go join another organization? And there's opportunities like that out there. If I want to keep managing other people's money, do I want to manage it in the same way I have been managing it? Or do I want to manage it, you know, approach the market with some different kind of strategy, some kind of different investment process? And then if you kind of run back up that decision tree, if I want to stay in crypto and I don't want to manage other people's money, or at least maybe not right now, well, then what would you do in crypto? What would I do in crypto? And I think most of those things are still on the table. I think I want to stay in crypto. I still believe that this is a fight worth fighting. I still believe that this technology has the potential to make the world a better place. And it's really all just potential at this point. If you look at the entirety of the history of crypto and the good that's been done over that entirety, and then you back out all the damage that's been done, you know, the net to me is probably marginally positive. And, you know, we could argue about that, but my view is it's like marginally positive, the entirety of what crypto's done over its history, minus the damage. So at this point, you're really just still sitting on a lot of potential to make the world a better place. And whether or not this technology delivers on all of, or some of, or none of its potential to make the world a better place is entirely dependent on the individuals that are working towards those various outcomes. And that's, I use this term fight worth fighting. That's a fight worth fighting to me. And I think I want to stay in it, but I feel pretty convicted that I need to fight the fight differently than I have been doing it.
I know what people listening are going to say, because it's a Bitcoin show, right?
Right.
They're going to say the reason it's marginally net positive is Bitcoin bringing it up, and that is all the crypto shit that's bringing it down. Like, I would argue the FTX situation was an evidence case for why Bitcoin is important, in that they didn't have any in the end, and it is crypto which is the damaging part, in that what they essentially did is they kind of ran an ICO, they pumped up a token, then they leveraged that token to borrow and trade, and that is part of the contagion that's been around a lot of these failures. It's not to say the contagion isn't part to do with people leveraging Bitcoin as well and rehypothecating it, but I would expect people listening would be like, Travis, it's the crypto shit that's ruining this. That's what I expect the response to be.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything that you just said. I still believe in use cases for this technology outside of, you know, a non-sovereign hard cap supply, global, immutable, decentralized digital store of value. I still believe in use cases outside of that. I still think that abuses of power of centralized tech companies are causing societal problems. And I still believe that technology and humanity are set to become further intertwined in the coming years and decades, and that looks like a setup for those societal problems to be exacerbated from here. And I still believe in the potential for decentralization to alleviate some of those problems, and I think that those solutions would be delivered, in a decentralized technology outside of Bitcoin. Still believe that metaverse is coming for humanity. We can argue about the pace of that, but you know, Apple's got these goggles that are coming out pretty soon, and like, I don't know when's the last time Apple whiffed on a big product. I don't know, right? And I still believe that there's the potential for decentralized technology to try and wrestle some of the power that would obviously come along with centralized tech companies having complete control over, that direction that humans and technology look like they're heading towards. So yeah, I believe in those things, but that's not to say that, the shit coining that was present, was not a major driver of the, all of the damage that was done in 2022.